Hi, it's T with Teaquilts, and today is Saturday, October 30th, 2021, and it is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're here for live chat. So I want to pull you all up on my cell phone so I can read the chat box. Let's see. All right. So thanks everybody for coming. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I go live and or upload videos. Have people in here early today. We're going to skip past those. And we're just going to start. About 7:49 maybe. We'll start right there at June Hanson. Yeah. I know some people come into the chat room early so that they can start communicating with others. Today it's going to be a little different since I'm going to talk about slouch bag or boho bags or hobo bags, as some people call them. And so I just want to do a quick sewing of one of the bags. So if somebody is looking at this video and just wanting to know what the bag is, how you make it, that's what I'm going to do. I'm only making this video so I have documentation on how I need to make this particular style, because I found out that a lot of them are different based on the pattern. So that's why I'm here today, mostly for myself, in case this somebody else asks me or the same person needs more bags down the line. I'll have a video and don't have to do all this research. So we're just going to wait a few minutes for people to get into the room. So I'll read just a few of these comments. We had June Hanson says, hi, T and everyone. We had a very nice day. Teresa McCormick says, hello, Miss T and everyone. So glad I made it. Quilt Gal says, hi, T and everyone from Chile, Maryland. Let me pull this over here so I'm not reading that way. Cynthia Field says, hi, T and fellow quilters. Had a busy day, so trying not to fall asleep on couch. Yes. A nap is a good thing. Maxie Doodle says, just got home from trunk and treat. That's pretty cool. She says, yikes, the witch is beat. So many adorable children. Hi, T and everyone from That's Craft with Love. Darcy Savali says, hi, T and all quilters. I am not going to be here tonight because I had surgery and I'm still sore. But I wanted to remind you to give T a thumbs up and make sure I did also. So thank you so much, Darcy. Jennifer Mizard says, hi, T friends. I'm only on for a minute because I'm visiting with dear friends in Opelika, Alabama. Yes, have fun, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Darlene Crosby says, hi, hello, T and T Quilters. Deborah Sims Brown says, hi, T and everyone from Maryland. Diana Vera says, hello from Connecticut. Hi, Diana. Welcome to the channel. Slowing Down Joe says, hello, T and everyone. Nisi Moss Waving says, hey, T and everybody. Don, hello, T and everyone. Been a while since I've been here. Sue, good evening, T and fellow quilters. Ready to learn something new. Janet Mackerel says, hello, T and quilters. Mary, I'm going to switch to my laptop. Laura Miller is here, says evening to all. Hi, Laura. Also, welcome to the channel. Bonita Nan says, hey, Miss T and everyone. Melissa LePage, good evening, T and everyone. Wash your hands. Hi, T and all T Quilters. Betsy, hello all. Greetings from beautiful St. Louis. Nellie Franco, hello, T and Quilters. Ella Odom, good evening, Miss T and Quilters. And Diana says she's working on a pouch while watching you. Yes. T. Roberts says, greetings to all quilters. Sharon Lewis says, hi, T and Quilters. I am ready for another exciting chat and sew. Sandra Agger, happy Saturday to all. Kathy Klein, hi, T and everyone watching from a retreat in Illinois. Well, have fun, Kathy. Prayers and healings to Darcy. So also, sorry about that, Darcy. I should have extended mines too. So thank you, Mary, for the reminder. Hoping you're feeling better soon. Beverly Aiken says, hello, T and T Quilters. Cynthia Shea, good evening to all from Chicago. Denise Sopatch 33 says hello. And Vivian Cabby, hi T and everyone. Francis Jackson, hello T and everyone. Amelia Rubio, hello Misty and everyone. Agnes Jimenez says hello T and quilters here. Kathleen Champ, laughing out loud, hi T and friends. Just June, and yes, traffic is crazy. Cuties everywhere. And then Cheryl Knuckles is here saying hello everyone. So just want to, I'm going to not read comments for a while. And I know that's going to be weird. We're going to be making these slouch bags. And the reason why I'm making this, and I'm making this particular size, I have noticed that a lot of the slouch patterns are big, and that's because they're made for you to put, you know, large items in. You could use them for grocery sacks. You could use them to sling over your body if they're the longer kind as well. So I do know why they are made so big. This is actually a smaller bag, and this is my customer's bag, and I have since just double stitched her handle down where it was coming apart because I didn't want it to completely come apart from me while I was holding it. And then I thought she could still use it, and then noticed that her inside part right here, this stitching also came out. So I'm just going to run some more stitching down here because sometimes, you know, we have our favorite bags. Sometimes we have things that we can just use when we're in the house, like she can hang this on a doorknob if it's easier for her to get to something. So I do want to give her this bag back, and I'm going to give it back to her so that it's at least usable. It's not going to be like the best quilting that you've ever seen on this bag. So I went looking through the internet looking for patterns for different bags. The difficulty I had on this bag is that this handle is right on the edge. If you can see that. See how the handle is right on the edge of the bag? And every pattern that I found had the handle where it was not on the edge. So you can see how it's kind of, not that side, this side, I'm sorry. Where the handle is like curved out and you've got this curved section. So there's a definite side to the pattern before it goes up the handles. And so I really wasn't paying attention to that. And I did get a lot of tips from you all from Wednesday. I think I got about 3 people that were trying to tell me other YouTube channels to look at for the bags. And I even sold my first bag based on the YouTube video, wasn't paying too much attention, and I ended up with 2 straps, okay? Because my pattern is different than everybody else's, and I wasn't paying attention to that. So that's another reason I'm doing this. So in order not to throw this bag in the trash, because when you're dealing with a jerry chair, you don't want 2 straps. You just want 1 strap. So you're only dealing with one thing to hang on to and not trying to catch a hold of 2. So what I did is I just went in there and I just zigzagged this strap closed. Now, this strap, because of how I constructed it and my pattern, it made this strap really fat. So here is the strap originally, and now it's about twice the size as what I needed. So what do? I go back and I modify my pattern, and I now know how I need to sew it. This is my prototype bag, but I'm going to give it to the lady anyway so she can still use it. So I go and modify the pattern. I come back, I make the right pattern, and the strap is the right size. And I sent through Messenger the bag. And you know, the lady says she likes the handles with the wider handle. And I don't think this lady is buying it for her aunt. So it's not for her. So I'm not sure if she's using the bags too or what, or if she knows what's best for her aunt. But she says this is the regular size of the handle. And now she wants the handle to be this size. So again, if I put this handle up here, so this is the size the handle should be. So I went ahead and put the pattern back, the handle back to the regular size. And I just want to show you the difference. You see how on my handle, it's all one piece here. There is no definite spot for a side a side piece where you would go up the side and stop sewing. And most of the patterns that I came across on the internet, that's what they had. This one does not have that. Now, I could have probably made her the bag that I'm showing you all now. But I like to make people exactly what they gave me. If they gave me something that was working for them, I try to keep it exactly what they gave me. So that's why I kept going forward with trying to make exactly what she wanted. So now I know how to sew it, and we're gonna do that. So what I did was I put there is a fold. You need to cut 2 pieces of your pattern, and you cut 2 pieces of the lining. So this is gonna be a lining for bag, and then I also have 2 pieces for the top of the bag. So this is my top print. I got 3 of them that I've got cut out here. So I've also got one that I thought I would add in, one fun one. She asked for 3 bags, so I'm going to give her 4. She'll get this fun one so she can have something that she can carry for the holidays. So I thought that'd just be a fun, cute one just to add in for her. And I like this fabric because on the other side it says, each side would have this saying on it, "Snowman fall from heaven." And then I also have one here that I am experimenting with that I've cut out of denim. I just want to see if it's going to be difficult to turn or not. So we'll see how many bags she gets. I think I'm going to see if my mother likes the bag. So I'm making my mother this one. So we're going to start making these bags. So the first thing you do is you take the actual bag and you're going to put the 2 pieces right sides together, and we're going to sew this whole outside piece from one end to the edge. And I'm just using 1/4 inch seam. You could use a 1/2 inch seam, 3/8 inch seam. You could use whatever size seam you like. And because it does have a little bit of curving to it, I'm going to put a few pins in here, just because I don't want any surprises at the end from feed dogs or anything like that. So just a couple of pins. I don't need a lot of pins. And I'm going to sew from edge to edge. And I know people were coming in. For those that are just coming in, I'm not going to read any comments right now. I'll read them after I do this intro bag, because I want to make sure that people can just look at this tutorial and get what they want without having to, oops, I got to go back home. I just cleaned my machine. Without having to have me read a whole lot of comments or talking about other topics. So I'm going to talk about all of that stuff when I do the other bags. So I'm just stitching a 1/4 inch seam. I find if I stitch a 1/4 inch seam, I don't have to do any of the clipping into the seam allowance. 1/4 inch just seems to work for me. I've done it where I clip the seams on one bag, and then I've done the second bag where I didn't clip any seams. So they both work very well. And I am going to be cutting my thread today just because I don't want to delay the sewing here since I'm doing a tutorial. And so I've just stitched this long outer side of the bag, right sides together, bag to bag front to bag back, which is the same fabric. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Whoops, one more pin just in case. And go ahead and stitch this. And then I need to do the same thing to my lining fabric. go ahead and open that up. Thank you, Tiffany. I see your comment down on the bottom, welcoming people to the live chat. Thank you so much. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and pin my other side as well because we're stitching down both sides. We're just putting lining fabric, right sides together. And stitching. And I do like this bag because there is no batting. It's quick. It does take about 20 inches of fabric for this size. If you make the longer bag or the bigger bag, you may need more fabric. But for this size, it's just a little over a half yard. And you could also piece them. I just wasn't going to do that. I'm just doing these for charity, and I just want to get these done really quickly. So she requested 3 bags, so I'm hoping that I can give her 4 bags if my denim one works out. My fan was on low. I had to put it at least on medium. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut this too. Okay, so we're going to leave the lining or it doesn't matter which one, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn the bag right side out. And at this point, I am just going to take the bag and stick it inside the lining here, like so. And we're going to stitch. I'm going to just hold one up so you can see where I'm going to stitch next because it's a little bit difficult. We're actually going to put these right sides together and we're going to stitch the inside curve. And since I've got 2, a front and a back, we'll be doing that curve twice. But when I stitch it, I'm going to stop stitching about 2 inches from the top and I'm going to back stitch. I'm not going to stitch from all the way at the top and go around. I'm going to stop about 2 inches down, stop about 2 inches down. So that's what I'm going to be stitching, but I'm going to put right sides together with the fabric and the lining. So I've got to open out my handles, and you could be pressing this too. I do have a press surface here, but I only press when I flip this out to sew it down, to be honest, because I'm going to stay stitch around this outer edge. So in order for me to remember, I want to stop stitching. I'm going to put this pin outside because I normally pin inside. I want to make sure I get my curves matched up. And that's the only reason I'm pinning, just because it's a curve. And I want to make sure that my pieces are centered. I am sweating up a storm. Don't know what's up with that. I got hot. I come into this room, I'm always fine. And then when I cut on all these lights, yeah, something happens. Just start hot flashing. And today also was the first day that I decided we better cut the heat on. It was a little bit cooler. We've been cool for a little while, so I went ahead and just cut the heat on today. My husband walking around here freezing, so I decided it's time today. I was a little bit cold today. Put another pin here for my stop. And then I'm going to pin both sides at the same time. So you can kind of see where I'm going around the curve here. And the way if you sew it this way, then you don't have any hand stitching of the handles when it's all said and done. So that's why I'm stitching it this way. And we're going to do both sides. My pins are coming out. My pen came out over there. I'm up here struggling with pens, guys. I'm double pinning now. I want the pen to stay in there. Double pin for that edge up there. I thought I had LED lights. I have to check this one light. I'm thinking it's this light right here. This is an odd light, and I don't know if I don't feel heat coming off of that one. It must be the one that's in front of me that's sitting on the shelf. But I thought I had LED lights. Maybe it's just a day bulb, a daylight bulb. As I come in here and I cut these lights on, I'm fine until then. But I thought I had LED lights. And again, I'm putting this pin in so I know to stop. All right, so I've got everything pinned. And so it looks a little weird. So I've got my lining to my right sides of fabric here. And I'm going to stitch in this curve, but I'm going to stop stitching 2 inches from the end here. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on this side where I'm going to stop stitching. And it's just approximate. I'm not measuring. It's not that critical that you need to measure where you're starting and stopping from. You just want enough room for you to be able to pull these fabric pieces back later and stitch the ends of the straps. So I'm just going to start somewhere, back stitch. You do want to back stitch. And again, I'm using 1/4 inch seam. I found when I used the 1/4 inch seam, I didn't have to do all the clipping. It didn't matter. It came out smooth. Once it was pressed. You know, you still got to press the bag. And this would be a good time to use the free arm on your machine too if you want to. I'm just using my table anyway. I just didn't take it off. I feel like pins are coming out before I'm pulling them out. Because I got pins on both sides. I should have double pinned, you know, put the pin in twice. Okay. Let me stitch the other side as well. All right. Oops, another pin just fell out. My pins are falling. I think it hit the floor. I didn't catch it in time. All right. So just that fast, went from 2 pieces. Now they're connected to each other, except that on the tail ends of the bag, I don't have those ends sewed on either side. So they're both low like that. So now we're going to pull the strap through. Got to get this through. Both of them. And again, I'm going to be talking with the chat people soon. I just want to get one bag made at the top hour of this video so that people that are here for this video don't have to listen to me yakking with the people in the chat. Okay, so we'll come back to that later. Okay, so you're going to actually be pushing this bag in. Well, just push the lining in because this is the outside. You could really choose at this point what your outside of the bag and your inside of the bag. So this is what it's going to kind of look like. But I need to sew raw edges together. So I want to take both of the right sides of the fabric. I'm putting the handles inside. And let me show you my pattern again. Now, a lot of times when you all have done bag bottoms where they have you mark so many inches in from the corner, and then they have you draw a line and you stitch on that line and then you cut that corner out. I cut my corner out in my pattern because I don't like doing all of that. If I cut this out while I'm cutting the fabric, then I don't have to do any measurements. All I need to do is make these raw edges line up and sew together. So that's what I've done here. That's why I have this little notched area cut out. That's going to be where I take a bag that's flat and make it boxed on the bottom. So this is the front, the outside of the fabric slouch bag. So I'm going to sew these raw edges at the bottom here, edge to edge, from one end to the other. And I'm going to backstitch. On this bag, I do backstitch every seam. Just don't want you to forget to do that. And I'm still using 1/4 inch seam everywhere. You can use whatever size seam you like. So I've just sewed that seam. Now this bag is sewed at the bottom. I've got these holes here on each side of the bag, right here. So what I'm going to do is just take this bottom seam. I'm going to flatten out where that L, this little box here that's cut out like an L. I'm going to match this seam to this seam and just press them different directions. And then if you need to, you can put a pin in it to hold it. And then I'm also going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm just putting a seam where the pin where the seams line up so I know which direction they're going. So now I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam, and this is going to box the bottom of my tote without me having to do any measurements to the corner. One side, and now we do the other. Use my thread snips to clip that apart. And now we've got the bottom of the bag on the outside sewn. Now we got to do the same thing to the liner portion. And we're going to be turning this bag through the lining. So what we want to do is start stitching from one edge, stop a little ways, leave about 3 to 5 inches, whatever you're comfortable with, leaving open for you to turn the bag through, and then stitch the remaining side. So that's what we're going to do next. And I'm going to make sure I backstitch at start and stops, because if you're turning this through and it's a little tight, the backstitching will keep it from tearing apart on you. Oops, let me pull that down. And it doesn't really matter how big this opening is, because we're going to stitch it closed on the machine once we turn anyway. So it doesn't even matter. You can leave 10 inches unsewed. It doesn't matter. All right. And so again, I've sewn where I have an opening here for turning this bag. So I didn't sew this seam from one edge to the next. And we're going to box these corners the same way, both sides. Hi, everybody joining. Just letting you know that I'm not reading any comments right now while I'm working on the bag. I'll read them as soon as I get this bag completed, and then I'll just work on the other two at my leisure. Okay, so here we go. Sew this down. Okay. So now we've got both of our sides sewn. We've got the side sewn and the bottom, the outside bottom completely sewn, but on the lining, we've got that part where we can turn it. We left that open. So that's what we're going to do next, is turn this bag. So then down here on this bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and fold these edges in. I don't have my iron heated up, so maybe I'll let that heat up for a minute. And let me just slide this over. So we've got this opening here on the bag, and what I'm going to do is where my seam allowance is, I'm just going to pull it so that the seam allowances meet up. I've got the raw edges inside. It just continues. And even though I'm using white thread, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down with white thread. When I'm doing this kind of stuff, just utility stuff, I don't worry about changing the threads. It's inside the bag. Nobody will ever see it but the owner. And so you have it looking like that with the white thread. I just sewed the opening closed. And I just double check and make sure that I've got everything closed, that I didn't stop too short. Don't want to hold, don't want somebody's coins or, you know, small items to go through the bag. So I just double check and make sure. Just clipping any stray threads I got here. My start and stop threads. All right. So this actually is going in here like that. We're almost finished with the bag, except that we've got to connect our handles. And the problem with the handles that were on this bag is that they had sewed the top handles by machine, and the bottom part of the handles was done by hand. And so that's why the bags were starting to come apart prematurely. So we're going to now take the two lining pieces, put them together, and I'm going to sew just the lining pieces. See how I've got the fronts, the outside of the bag just pulled down. I'm going to sew across the top of the lining pieces. Put a pin to make sure my seam allowances go either side. And so that's why you need to determine how much space you want to leave open for how tight you want to sew this. And again, I'm just back stitching here to make sure it's got some security here. And the last part we're going to do is I've got the bag fronts I need to do. So I'm also going to take those and put them right sides together. Flip the lining part out the way. And that's where, if this is too tight for you to sew, maybe you might need to leave 3 inches, 4 inches open. I like challenges. So I have enough room. It's not a whole lot of room, but long as I can sew a 1/4 inch seam for 1 inch, I'm okay. And then you just working your way around the curve. So let's do this. Back stitch. So I've just done that part, and then I can pull the rest of it around. Hold my end pieces and stitch it. I'm going to go over the pin, make sure I went over, and I'm going to back stitch. My machine just stopped all of a sudden. Don't know what that's about. Oh, my thread broke on top. But it's stitched. My thread came unthreaded here inside the machine somewhere. I guess I pulled on it somewhere. Just making sure this bobbin is not broken. Alright, so now what we have is the handle that's sewn by machine, both front and back. And then the way you're going to finish these raw edges on both sides is as you tuck these seams in, you're going to press this in, and you're going to meet those edges. And this is where I'm going to have to press. You're going to meet your edges at your seam, press that down. Hopefully my iron is still on. I'm using my little Panasonic iron because it's cordless today. Hoping it's hot enough to do the job in this little short little space I got here. And then I want to also do that to the other side. And press that. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some pins in here to hold this because I definitely don't want it coming apart. Going to match up my seam junctions. And then go ahead and pin one pin on either side to make sure it all stays nice and flat as I'm sewing. And do that on this other side. Got to put the pins the other direction. Because you're going to be sewing on one side and then going to the other. Okay, and then right here, So these pins are heat sensitive, and what I do recommend is that you take your iron and press with an iron this whole section, and you want to make sure that your lining fabric is always underneath your front facing fabric. You want to do that to both sides of the bag because you've got two openings here. So that's going to take me a little time to do, but I just want to explain that. And then the last step is when I top stitch or edge stitch this together, it's going to close those openings from where I attach my straps. And because I only used a 1/4 inch seam, I didn't do any clipping into the seams. It tend to lay just right there for me to press it down. I haven't had any problems. So if you don't need to do a step, I wouldn't tell you to do it because it's unnecessary with a 1/4 inch seam. If you're doing like a 5/8 inch seam, a 3/8 inch seam, maybe you do need to do that. But on a 1/4 inch, it's just laying. And this particular fabric doesn't have, this pattern, the curve isn't that deep anywhere. I don't know about other patterns either. So I'm only talking about the one that I made from that bag. I didn't have a store-bought pattern. I just used the bag that I had. So I've done this side. Now we're going to do the other side. All the way around. And we're almost finished. And considering we don't have any cuts, this doesn't take long. So I didn't mind like making this bag for free because it was quick. It was actually something different to do other than making something quilted as well. I haven't made bags in a while. I used to make them all the time. So it was fun to do that. And it was just nice to do something for somebody that actually needs something. And they'll appreciate the, oops, gotta turn it the other way. And they'll appreciate the work of it because they get to use it, something that they really need. So I'm just gonna start anywhere on this strap. I'm gonna start in a light spot where since I'm using the light tan thread, I'm gonna start in that spot so my start and stops are not as obvious. And just top stitch or edge stitch this down. I'm doing about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch is fine, but I'm going to make sure I'm about 1/8 of an inch when I get back around to that edge that's open though. So that's why I recommend 1/8 of an inch top stitching. I think I started out at 1/4 inch, forgot. Just because I'm talking and live. So I really like 1/8 inch seam here for edge stitching. And I'm just using my 97D foot because I'm just lazy and don't want to change to an edge foot. You could. I'm the lazy sewer. If I don't have to, I don't. If I need to, I will. So now I'm back around where the pins are for the strap, where I'm closing these edges down. So I want to definitely make sure I'm doing 1/8 of an inch seam here. Pull my strap around. Remember, if you use your free arm, you don't have to do all the turning of the bag that I'm doing. And end it right there. So I'm gonna snip my starter threads here because they're longer because I had to rethread my machine. And now I'm going to do the other side as well. Again, starting in the beige area. This time 1/8 of an inch. else around. And then I will chat with you guys in the chat box. Okay, so we're coming back to that open edge where I've got the pins. About 2 inches away from that. Make sure I'm on that 1/8, so I'm closing this in without any raw edges peeking out. Okay. Almost. Home stretch here. All right. So that bag is done. All right. So she said she liked the thicker handle. So I went back. Let me clip my threads. I can't stand when I see the little tail ends from the machine cutting still sticking out. Yeah. Make sure I get them on both sides. That's the sewer in me. All right. So then this is the bag. So this is what she gave me. This is what she gave me, and this is what I made her. And they're about the same size. The reason this bag looks a little bit bigger than this one is because this is not made on cotton material. It has like a lining fabric on the inside, so that's a thinner fabric. And this is some kind of dressmaker fabric, like some kind of rayon, so it's thin too. So, you know, cotton fabrics have more body, they hold, but they are the same size bag. Literally, it just, my bag has more body, so it's standing up more. But that's the bag in a nutshell. The lady that I'm making them for, I met her through line dancing, and she's really nice, and so that's why I offered to do the bags free for her aunt. And like I said, somebody that's using a jerry chair all their life. We sew for charities all the time, so I just picked her as my charity project. So I'm gonna make her. She asked for 3 bags. I'm gonna actually give her 4. So this is my prototype bag that I salvaged by sewing that zigzag clothes I told you all about. And then this is the bag that had the original strap size that she really prefers, the thicker strap. So I made the pattern, went back to the thicker strap. So I got the 3 bags that she actually requested done. I'm also going to finish fixing her bag. And then I'm going to make one for my mom. And I'm also going to make her one that's denim. I just want to see if denim's going to be hard to turn through the handle or not. But I'm thinking since these handles are much thicker, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that. And then I'll sew that one later with you guys, the denim bag. But let me see who's in the chat room. If you got any questions, you can leave them in the chat box, or if you're watching this video later, you can also leave questions in the comment section of the video. So you all got a lot of chatting going on in here. And I stopped way back at like 8:04 or something. So let's see how far back they let me go. Sometimes they limit how far I can go back in the chat. Look like I'm going back. Hold on. Let's see. I think I'm starting at Maria Mayer. She says, hi, Miss T and everyone. Hi, Maria. And Kathleen says, sorry, T, just came in. My thing is boss the last couple of days. So she's in charge. Denise is reminding people to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Denise. Sheila Willis says, good evening, T and all quilters. Cold and raining in Tennessee. Yes. I'm just listening while I work. Sewing room upside down. That's Kathleen. But it'll be beautiful when you're done. Diane 57 is here. Says, hi, T and my friends. Craft with Love says, Tia, slouch bags are very good bags to have handy. You can put a lot of things in them. Yes. And like I said, this pattern here was big, and it's even bigger than this because they have a little section that I didn't even add that goes on down here that you can also make this bag even bigger. But I just wanted to put one together that I had downloaded free online just so I can show you the difference in this pattern and my pattern. So they even got a piece that go on the top. But you can see that this pattern is so much smaller, and even if I pull it down to where the edges line up, it's not as wide either. So yeah, a lot of difference in the pattern. And like I said, the main difference for those that came in late is that my handle went straight up the side. It wasn't a curve in. It didn't have a distinguishable side. The whole handle was the side, all the way around to the bottom for the most part. Until I cut that square out of it. Diane says, I am on the road from Austin, so I will listen. Yes. Did you go to the quilt show, Diane 57? Let's see. The bag still looks good. I think she will still like it and pretty sure she will be able to use it. Yes, and that's why I just salvaged the bag. I knew that I had to do something. She's talking about this first bag I showed doing the demo where I had to zigzag because I ended up with two handles because I was following a YouTube person, and I ended up with two straps following their directions, and it was because my pattern is a lot different, so I couldn't do what they did. And I figured that out once I had the whole bag put together and realized I had already closed the bottom. No, I had already sewed and opened up the bottom. And so it was going to be a big deal for me I had already sewed and closed the bottom on the lining and then realized that I had 4 handles instead of 2. And so I was like, okay, we're going to salvage this bag, but I'm not ripping this stuff out. So, and that's what I did. I just zigzagged. And it's so funny because that's the one she likes the most. The one I zigzagged the handle on. And with that handle being zigzag too, it's actually probably going to last a lot longer than the other bags where the handle is just flipped and sewn. It's not stitched down the middle of the handle. So it's probably twofold thing there. So thank you, Larissa. LaConte Middleton says good evening. Dolores Felt says hello all Teaquilters and Miss T. Kevin the Quilter here, he says, driving back from helping sister and brother-in-law with tornado damage. Evening, Miss T and all Teaquilters. Hi, Kevin. I know you've been busy, so I've been leaving you alone. Kevin, his family, they're real close-knit. I saw where he was with his family on Facebook, so just been trying to give him some space because I know Kevin, he's the nervous Nancy, but in the male version. I guess nervous Nathan. So yeah, I knew Tiffany was here because she's been commenting. Aleata Bryant says hi TNT Quilters, and Diane says you're very sweet to make her an extra bag. Yeah, I'm sweet to make. Giving her 4 bags, and her nieces are the one that I'm in contact with, and she was willing to pay, but this is something that I will not take money for. I'll just do it. When she first asked me, I thought she was only gonna want 1 bag. And these bags are so easy to sew. It's no big deal. The hardest part of this bag is deciding what fabric I want somebody to take out of my stash. Now, is that crazy or what? It's like, I don't want to use this fabric. I don't want to use that fabric. That is too funny. I didn't even want to cut the African print. And I said, girl, somebody else gave you this African fabric. I think that was a piece that I got from Pam, who we haven't heard from in a while. But I had got that African fabric from Pam, and I said, girl, you can share that with somebody. It was already like a scrap that she had cut into. And so I was able to work around all the holes in the fabric to cut this bag out. So it was meant to be. So I'm going to make that bag. And if my mom doesn't like the bag, then I'm going to just give that one to the lady as well. Because my mom has a scooter, and I'm thinking maybe this might work on her scooter as well. Good night, Denise. I know she's long gone by now. She says we'll catch you all on the replay. Ellen Campbell says your bags are beautiful. Thank you. Mary F. talking to Kevin, saying she's so sorry about the tornado damage for his family. Caswell, I don't know how you say that. Casavel says hello T and everyone. That's how I'm gonna say it, Casavel. Wind Sprinter says hello T and everyone. Ellen is talking to Tiffany. Joan Elkins says hi T and everyone. Brenda Foley, good evening. I'm at wedding reception, gonna dance my booty off, laughing out loud. Wish y'all was here. Good night. Have fun, Brenda. Thank you so much for popping in. Rhonda Barlow says hello T and everyone. Thanks, Tiffany. She's giving out the website for Teaquilts. Teaquilts, I may have found myself a quilting frame that works. Delivery is Monday. I hope it works for you. So I saw the thing about the LED lights. Deborah Quilts is here saying hello T and all fellow quilters. LaConte is talking to Craft with Love. Kathy's Quilts and Crafts says hello at Teaquilts. Hi, Kathy. And Tiffany says, I still get hot with my LED lights and I blame it on the iron all the time. Now I do have the iron behind me. And that's why I didn't cut on the what is that thing? The heat press that I got behind me because I can feel the heat radiating off of that thing. Darlene Butler says, hi TNT Quilters. I hope that all is well. I almost missed you all tonight. Debbie says hello from Quilter. Hello T and Quilters from South Carolina. Hi, Debbie. Craft with Love says, T, I will be listening for a moment. I got the Cricut personal cutter, and I am going to see if it will cut and working right from CHKD. I don't know what that is. I don't know who CHKD is. Remo JS is here saying, good evening, Miss T and Quilters. Be careful, Kathy, outside in your wheelchair. Hopefully everything's okay. You're not having any pain now. A lot of people are sending their prayers. She says she's just real sore. That's what I kind of figured. And sometimes that stuff, your adrenaline is so high when it happens, you don't even know you're in pain at the time. Linda DeVito says, hi, T and everyone. Welcome from Beverly Hills, Florida. Hello, Linda. And Linda's giving prayers to Kevin and his family as well. Thank you so much, Linda. Tiffany is still being the hostess with the mostest in the chat. A lot of people are sending their prayers to Kevin as well. So thank you all so much. You all are so sweet. Finally got here. Hello to everyone from Janice Miller. Sis and everyone, I hope you are staying safe. That's from my brother. Virgie goes, where did T find the pattern? This pattern I made from the bag I got from the lady. That's why it's a little different because the handle is straight on the side. This pattern here comes from the happiestcamper.com and it's called the Slouch Tote. And they even have an option on here for interfacing, but I kind of like not having all the stiffness when you're turning the bag. But here's the information on this tote. See if I can get it up there closer, because these are some little bitty words. Happiest Camper, right up under the camper is the words for the website, and it's called the Slouch Tote. And as I said, they even have a YouTube video, somebody is making this, but again, this pattern is totally different at the top than mine. So if you're following her directions, it's not going to work out for you. You're going to end up with 4 handles And then I had to sew those 4 pieces into 2 when I connected them. And then I had to make them 1 by stitching with a zigzag stitch to connect it, because I wasn't going to unsew all of this, and I wasn't going to throw this bag away. And then the customer, this is her favorite bag. She likes it like this, okay? So that is funny, but it was harder to sew. So that's why I did not make all of them that way with the zigzag on top anyway, because it was harder to sew wrong than it was to sew it right, okay? Because I was following somebody else's directions, and that doesn't work for a bag where the handle is on the side. So I'm looking forward to giving these to her tomorrow. So I'm going to make her 1 more. I got this denim one cut out from a pair of denim pants I used to wear. So that's my next one. Let's see. I'm about uh, 20 minutes or so behind the chat. This is ridiculous. Well, I was sewing, but still, I'm trying to catch up. Nora 22,000 says, hi, everybody, and T. Hope you're feeling fine. Hi, Nora, and welcome. Cook Gal says, what's going on with Kevin? I hope he's okay. Prayers for Kevin's family that suffered tornado damage. A Cook Gal says, where was the tornado? Erling Butler says, yes, I pray that all goes well for you and a speedy recovery. Blessings to you. So she's just putting that out there for people that need it. Anyone know where the pattern is? That's Virgie. I haven't heard from him. He is a great kid and hope he's okay. So I don't know what these conversations are. I think I want to make one with more narrow straps and longer straps. Yeah, and I think if you make the bag super big, you might want a fatter strap, because when you put the weight in the bag and then it hits on your shoulder, it's better if it's actually a wider bag. And if I was making a big bag, I probably would go ahead and put some batting in there, because it would make that strap softer as well. It just depends on what you're going to do with it and how you're going to use the bag when it's done. If it gets heavy, the thinner strap kind of just goes into your skin because it's going to fold in. A thicker strap with batting will, if I was doing this pattern here and this strap is very thick, I think I would be one of those people that would be, I think I would be putting some batting inside of that, because I would want some softness on my shoulder. If you're going to make a big bag like that, you're going to be putting some stuff in it. And Nora says she likes the bag a lot. Well, thank you. June says, like your bag. Yes, she will like them, T. So Cheryl says, I like that one too, and I hope that T will let us use her pattern. I'll have to find some kind of way for me to trace that onto regular typing paper and then have room for it to print. I haven't done that because I've just traced this off of the bag. I used freezer paper. But you all don't have the bag. I do understand that. And like I was telling you all, every one that I saw, the bag was curved in. It wasn't right on the edge. And I kind of like that it's right on the edge, because it's a little bit easier to sew than the ones that are inside the end. You have to actually do that to all 4 straps, where I was able to go straight from top to bottom on the outside. So a little bit different. And Virgie says those bags would also be nice for a quick grocery shopping stop. Yes, it is. And like I said, you can make it a little bit bigger, but this bag, this particular size, is the size that's appropriate for use on a jerry chair, apparently. Now, I don't have a jerry chair in my vicinity to check this, but I thought that I would let my mom make one for my mom and see if she could use it on her scooter, see if it would work on her scooter. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to give the lady this bag as well, so she'll end up with another bag. And Cheryl Knuckles go, I agree with Virgie. Sin Forrest is here, says, hello, T and everybody. Hi, Sin. I'm having screen trouble, all blurry. I'll be back. Thumbs up. Thanks, Tiffany, for still welcoming everybody coming in. That's really sweet. Nora says it's been a really nice day here in Northern California. Deborah Quilts is saying hello to people. Betsy says, beautiful bag, Miss T. Thank you so much. I really like those bags, T. Very nice. Darlene, the bags are great, T. From Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. And Wind Sprinter says, very pretty and practical bag. Yes. Those bags are really cute, and I do be a bag lady for sure. Yeah. I mean, this is not a bag that you're going to be wanting to go out partying on the town with, but this is definitely a bag that can hold some stuff. If you're going to a child's sporting event, you need your snacks in here or something like that. It's really great. Like they say, shopping bags. And you can make them in any size you want. Once you get a basic pattern, you can just rough cut it big. You don't have to be like measure all this stuff out because it doesn't really matter. It's a bag. And then you can just have them any size you want by changing the length. Like inside this pattern, say you didn't want this pattern this big, you can just fold this pattern. And I'm just doing this really quick, but you can always change any pattern to any size you want. You're just going to fold this pattern up, and then you're going to create this new bottom to come down and match up through here. So you're going to ignore the other line. So if your lines don't match up, you just make them match up. But you see how you can fold the pattern to get that to happen? I know I was off screen a little bit, but you're just basically folding up your pattern and making it work. Okay? Yeah, so you can resize them. And then if you want it longer, you just cut in the middle, put a split, and and add on to it. So it's always stuff like that is easy to make bigger and smaller. This is just happened to be a smaller one that was requested. Hi, Benita Nance. She says, awesome bag, easy to make and fast. Yes. Claudette Bettis is here saying hello to you and everyone. Hi, Claudette. Ellen's asking people where can she purchase a lot of machine needles. I tend to the needles I go through the fastest are my long arm needles, and so I buy them online from Linda's Electric Quilters. But like my regular sewing machine needles, I just get them from Joann's and my local quilt shops when they have them at 50% off, because I feel like Smith's needles is what I use for the most part on my sewing machines. I do have to get some Singer's brand for my Singer machines, but I don't use them that often, so I got plenty in stock from when I bought them previously. But that's what I do. I just buy a lot of them when Joann's have them on sale. And sometimes they'll give you 50% off, and then like around Christmas times, you get the additional 10 or 20% off. They get even cheaper. So that's when I tend to buy stuff like that. Angela Stringer is here, says, good evening, T&T folk. Hi, Angela. Is there any way we can get your pattern, or do you have too much going on? That's Sue. And I think I just answered that question. I'll see if I can make this fit onto paper, because I have to scan it in and maybe put like a 1-inch square scale so you all can scale it back to the size you need based on my square, because I don't have a pattern making software, but I'll try to do what I can. And like I said, this is just a rough pattern, so it's not pretty, but I'll do it. And I'll also, and like I said on mine, I actually cut the corner out. So I'll see if I can get you all a pattern. I'll try to trace this onto like maybe 3 sheets of typing paper, and then you all can cut them and paste them back together. And I'll put a link. When I do that, I'll try to remember to come back to this video since it has the title of Slouch Bag in the video. I'll put a link in the description box for this pattern. And then I'll just make an announcement when it's done. I have to see what I can do about that. I don't make patterns that like applique stuff and stuff that goes across more than one page. So this right here is definitely more than one page, but it's simple, so hopefully it'll work. We'll see. Celia Swine says, hello, tea and quilting family. French Seam says, good evening, TNT Quilters, sewing and listening. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. C-Rex says, hello, Quilters and Miss T. I had a good time at Quilt Festival yesterday. So that's pretty awesome. Now tell me, was it packed or was it not a lot of people? How was it? Do you think it was successful? I would like to know that. Thank you. And Larissa's laughing when I was saying that, the hardest part for me was figuring out what fabric I was going to get rid of. So this is new fabric from that black, gray, red, and white that I just sold kits. This is the fabric that I gave everybody a yard of. So I had a couple extra yard, that I could spare and go to bed. So I used that. But then on the inside, I just used the white cone of cotton. And then this Christmas fabric, because I had given you all my Christmas fabric a year or two ago. I gave it to people when it wasn't a year or two ago. I gave my quilt fabric when I first was refolding my stash, reorganizing my stash. I gave away all of my old quilt fabrics I didn't want. And it was hard for me to get rid of this one because I'm a snowman collector. I love snowman fabrics too. But I'm not making anything with Christmas. And so I was like, girl, use this fabric. And then the red, even though I like the red and it's a pretty red, I had put it in to be used for quilt backing. So I actually went into my quilt backing stash to pull the backing for the red. So that's why I got so much red, because it was easy for me to use as a lining. Of course, I found a pair of jeans for this one. And this one was the hardest one to use. I'm like, you haven't even made yourself anything with African fabrics. It's like every time I use African fabrics, I tend to give away the project. So, and I had to talk to myself. I said, girl, somebody else blessed you with this fabric. You can bless somebody else with it. So that's what I'm doing with that. But so I still got 2 more I want to make, but thank you, Tiffany. She's giving people the Facebook stuff too. You all are just doing it here in these chats. Betsy sending prayers to Kevin. Vicky Lemire sending prayers. It's a thrift store. Craft with love, yes. Jackie K says, hello, TNT Quilters. Finally able to join you tonight. Hey, Jackie. Virgie says, I like your pattern better. Yes. I liked it because like I said, I had 2 versions of it where I had the thinner handle, and now I'm using the version that has the thicker handle. So I'll just give you all the version with the thicker handle. If you want a thinner handle, then you can just shave some of it off on the handle. That's all you have to do. So that way I'm only uploading one. Vicky talking about every time she go to Walmart, she threw a few bolts of fabric in her cart. My Walmart where I live, they never have anything that I want. I would have to go to like a whole different subdivision, like passing maybe 3 or 4 Walmarts before I can find some fabric. That's how bad it is. I don't get good fabric in my Walmart, so I don't even look anymore. Just finished a new in the hoop embroidery project. That's Deborah Quilts. June says need to put supper away when we get done. I'll get dishes done. Told Hub they just jumped in my cart. That's Vicky. Casavel says I'll say good night now. It's a 3-hour in the night here in Germany, and I'm tired. So good night. Thank you so much for popping in here and being with us. Reset the time back from summertime to wintertime today, so it feels like 4 o'clock. Yes, and we got that tonight. I think I haven't been paying attention. Normally it's the last week in October. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? Carter says, hey, T and all quilters. I will miss the November birthday shout outs. We are headed to Las Vegas for our daughter's funeral. Now, that's sad. I'm so sorry about that, Helena. Prayers for you and your family. That's got to be one of the hardest things to do is to bury your children. So, Beverly Aiken saying good night to Cassaville. People around me somewhere are partying, blowing off fireworks. Always. I think they just make up excuses to have fireworks now. So, people are saying that they're sorry for your loss, Helena. A lot of prayers and things are coming your way. So, that's really sweet. And she even says thanks all. So, it's very hard. Jackie says, I'm just spooling here. We'll watch the replay. Have fun. Good night. Good night, Jackie. That was a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes ago. I'm getting closer. C-Rock says, it wasn't packed, but good crowd, as I expected. They gave awards to best face mask. Now, that's pretty cool. That was cool. I bet that's interesting to see. Let's see. Time changes next week. That's Virgin. Okay, because I thought it was this weekend. So that's good to know. Thank you, Virgie. Clocks go back next weekend from Sue as well. Daylight savings time is November 7th. November 7th from Betsy and June and Bonita. So thank you guys. Getting me on track. Well, that's great because I got a quilt lecture on, I think, Thursday. I better know it's Thursday, right? So I got to go and I got to start pulling quilts because the quilt lecture I did before, I didn't put those quilts up because I was just lazy. I took everything and put the containers downstairs, but I didn't sort the quilts into the appropriate ones. And so now I need to, this one is my Jack of all trades quilt lecture. And it's a combination of everything, like, particular rulers that I like, techniques that I like stack and whack, tessellating quilts, stuff like that. So, yeah. So I've got a lot of stuff I got to pull out. I told my husband I had to pull it out because when I was down there looking for this denim, I thought I had a container of clothes. I don't know what my husband did with it. It was in a clear. I'm putting it on him. It was in a clear container, and it's like I thought I had it right over there, but I didn't see those, so I had to go somewhere else and pull this out. And I'm like, I don't even know why I put the stuff back up. I should have just kept it out, but I'm making bags. That's how I get distracted. I'm making bags. I'm looking for fabric, and then I would have pulled all that stuff out and packed quilts and never would have got the bags done. So I'm like, girl, if you make the bags, you can get the bags off your list. And then you can go to doing quilt stuff. So that's my next task is to, I want to make sure this is on the end. My next task is to start packing for my quilt lecture next week. That's my task. I got to deliver the quilt tomorrow. I got to do that as well. And I need to do a store run. I don't hardly go to the store. I'm out of other stuff in the house now. It took me 2 years to run out of stuff. So I need to go like to Target or something like that. All right. So we're working on this denim bag now. And I don't know what time it is. I didn't look at the finish time. So 9:18, I got plenty of time. Hold on. Oh, guess who has no daylight saving time? That's Penny in Arizona. Yes, I do kind of You know, at one point when I was in school, I kind of liked daylight saving time, but other than that, I've never liked daylight saving time. It's great to get the hour, but hard to lose an hour. Okay. Pins are coming out again. The Walmart here in Suffolk, Virginia has so much fabric it looks like no one is buying it because it's full. Yeah, they have stuff on the shelves in our area that I wouldn't buy. It's like, where did you even think there was any cuteness in any of this stuff? Mm-mm. Like I said, I have to go all the way across town. I went and I saw a whole boulder. I want to make a fabric quilt with message, with letters. And they had a whole bolt of fabric that was perfect with text, and it had the appropriate text, you know, some of the text for my message that I'm interested in. And I'm just basically wanting to do something similar to what I saw when a lady did a quilt at Ferguson Library a few years back. I thought it was so cute. So I have my background fabric ready. All right. Come out of there. And we're just going to turn one of these the right way. Out, it doesn't really matter at this point. The only time you're determining right side and wrong side is when you're stitching the bottom, which one you stitch the bottom closed. That's definitely your inside. If you're stitching it by machine. Otherwise, it's a reversible bag if you stitch it by hand. But I wouldn't do that. So I had a pair, you know, they make all the pants now slim legs. And so it was just weird that it took me a little minute to find some fabric that I could use to make this, to cut out the denim bag without having to piece it. My goodness. I guess I should open this seam up because it's a little bit thicker with the denim. We shall see. Well, I don't need to do that now. That's only when I'm closing it. I'm getting distracted. I'm only going to pin one side since my pins want to come out anyway. Maybe this denim will hold it in here a little better, though. Now that I'm pinning against denim. And this is where I'm going to not sew all the way to the end again. I have to tell myself. Don't sew to the end. People still giving Helena prayers as well. That's really sweet of you guys. Deborah Holloway says, good evening, TNT Quilters. I'm so glad I made it. I did make your potato soup, and it was a big hit with my family. Well, thank you. This is my center, and this is that jean seam, so I'm just going to lean it to one side. I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to be thickness on one side, right? I use the side of the leg as my fold. So it shouldn't be too bad. So this one should be a nice weight. So, and this, I cut both pieces off of one pant leg. So I said, okay, if I really like this one, I'll make my mom, if she likes the bag, then I'll make her one like out of the other side of the denim bag. So who puts fabric in the backing or charity stack and then go back and get it for something else? Although I am doing this for charity, it's not for me. It is charity. Okay, we'll just do one side for right now. And since this is denim, maybe I'll leave a little bit more open just in case. I have to have issues turning it back. Never know. Got to be prepared. See, this is where I do all the stuff, and you all know if it was worth it or not. I'm making it up as I go. T, I think you can finish all these bags before you get off live tonight. If I wasn't talking, I could. If I wasn't talking, because I was talking to Deborah, but we were both working, and I didn't have like to maintain an audience on a screen. I didn't have to like read comments. That's the thing, reading comments. And so I had sold 2 of them talking to her. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was making pattern and everything, making pattern adjustments. So, yeah, I could if I was sewing, because they're pretty quick. Believe me, if they weren't quick, I wouldn't have added more to my job. And then I would have said, okay, when she wanted 3 instead of 1, because at first it was like, can you make this bag for me? I'm like, okay, I'll just, and she says, how much would you charge? And I said, I'll just make you a bag for free. And then she comes back and goes, but I need 3 of them. So I'm like, whatever. We'll see. So I never told her I was doing them for free, but they are free. Because they weren't, after I got the pattern figured out, I spent more time searching for stuff to help. And it just isn't out there. I don't know where this pattern is, but I couldn't find it pieced this way. So I had to figure it out for myself. But I'm sure it's a pattern out there because, like I said, I feel like these bags were made from some charity organization. I just don't know what that pattern is. And I looked at about 5 patterns. I printed 3, and none of them are the same. So they're just not like this. So I'm looking for my little dog. She gone. I'm dog sitting again. I took her outside before I went live, and she was laying there. I think my husband must be upstairs. Like I said, she's highly motivated by food. So if you even enter the kitchen, she's like, "Are you in here to feed me?" It's like, no. All right. Again, sew handles here. Come down a little bit since this is thicker. June, I need that extra hour I get stuff done, but it takes me a while. I get short of breath and need to sit for a few minutes. Yeah, but you're going to lose it in the spring. And then that's when I'm like, oh my God, why do we even do this? It's only in the spring that I'm complaining here in the U.S. Yes. Deborah Quilts, T, do you have a die that measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/2 rectangle? Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say no, because most of my die ratios go up in even edges, like a 2x4, a 1, like they'll end up a 2x4, 1x3, 3x5. That's not a normal 2-to-1 ratio. So I would say at the top of my head, I'd say no. June says, glad to hear you talk to yourself. I do sometimes. People hear me laughing out loud, but I need to for some stuff. Yes. Because I have to, because I'm sitting up here talking, and then I've been on Soul Something Crazy, and then Diane 57 will be laughing because she likes to see me rip. So, take these pins out and clip this thread. Got a thread tail hanging. I'm a neat quilter and a neat piecer. It drives me nuts when I see that kind of stuff. I still got pins I haven't pulled out. Make sure both sides. Okay, so now we're to the point where we pull the handles through. You get to see if this denim, now on this fat one, I'm thinking on the thinner one it might be a little harder, but it's coming right through the fat handle, which is the pattern I'm going to give you. And yeah, it's just coming right through. So it wasn't hard to pull that through at all. So I'm thinking interface bags shouldn't be a problem to pull through. You just leave more open on your lining part. Okay. So I'm looking at this and I've missed, there was a little dip. You know, denim stretches. And so I have missed sewing some denim here. So I'm going to just take out a little bit so I can reline up, because it's only like 1/4 of an inch on each side of it, of the opening. I just need to get a hold of, because it just stretches. That's what denim does. And so I was using the stretch part, and I'm going to show you why it stretched in a minute. I didn't show you that. But I'll show you why it stretched, because it's got some weight on it. Let me get that out of there, okay? And I'm going to pin this to make sure it doesn't move. Put a few pins in here. I got about, and I can see where I got to ease it up in here. And it's close to that little center section too, where that seam is fat. But yeah, so always check and make sure before you close your bag up that your seam is actually sewn all the way around. And this is the kind of stuff I leave in even if I'm doing a video where I'm editing, because I want people to know that, especially new sewers, everything don't go according to plan all the time. We have to rip. Seam rippers were made for a reason. Okay. And that's another reason I'm liking the top stitching, because it also adds another layer of protection on your stitches as well. Okay, thanks. I have a 3 1/2 by 6 1/2. Yeah, I got other sizes, but I'm sure I don't have that size. So now I'm just going around here checking and making sure this denim is sold everywhere now. Just making sure. But I think it was because of what I was doing. Okay, so now I want to pull right sides together so I can stitch the bottom ends. I just needed to pull those handles out. So now on the lining part, I'm going to leave a bigger opening because I got the denim as well. It doesn't matter when I'm sewing it closed by machine, so I just want to make sure I got a good chunk of my side sewed so I can sew the side seam. Do that. And we're going to come down here and do this other end. Leave a good chunk of this open. I can sew from one end to the other. I wouldn't care. Okay. So this is my lining piece. Got my opening. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew my box corners here. using pins this time, just holding him. My shadow is back. Just comes in, don't make any noise. I just look down and see the body. Oops. And she only deals with my husband when she think he's getting some food. Otherwise, she stay with me. He moving again. She's leaving. She is too funny. Up and down. She just got to check everything out. Uh-oh. I'm not threaded, right? Yeah. I don't know why I'm not sewing. That didn't sew. It looks like I'm threaded. I don't understand that one. Okay, so let me put a pin in here to hold where I'm sewing. And just get a piece of scrap. Something. I got squares I'm sewing together. See if any of this sew together. To see if I need to rethread the whole thing or did it just do something goofy. I don't want to put any extra stitches in my, so it's not stitching. So let me rethread it. I don't know what's up with that. If it didn't have bobbin thread, it would it wouldn't sew. So I feel like it shouldn't be the bobbin, but who knows? Okay. The person talking about food is always a good motivator for her too. The things I see when I just glance over out of all the comments. I mean, people still saying sorry to Helena, so that's really nice. I got a pumpkin from the people that came in and helped me. Hold on. I don't know what I did. Let me rethread this again. It's super long now. I wasn't paying attention, grabbed the wrong end. Okay. I'm still not sure if this is going to work, right? They came and helped me and they put a quilt needle and thread in. Then they put spools of thread around the rest of the pumpkin. It was so cool. Now that's nice. Still not sewing. Okay, so I've rethreaded the top. So it's got to be the bobbin, which means we've got to lift the foot and take everything off. Now, in all honesty, I didn't have these kind of issues with my baby lock. They are not as persnickety as these Berninas. And I just cleaned and oiled this machine before I went live. So it's not my fault. Okay. I'm I'm swimming in bags over here. Got bags everywhere. Try this again. All right, looks like we're stitching. Okay, this pen right here. Have to remember where I'm at. So we got like 20 more minutes, guys. So I may be finishing the last bag. I don't even have to worry about right now, but I finish it off. I'll still finish it offline. I still got to sew the bottom of my denim. We'll definitely finish this one. And this denim is both going the same direction. I'm going to make it go the other way anyway, because it's just too thick. Way too thick. I think I moved it the other way. It did it accidentally at the top anyway. Oh, I did it when I had to resew that center. That's what I did. I turned it around. But denim does stretch, so you have to be careful with denim. Okay, here we go. Ease down. Okay. You making me want to go sew something, but my back and neck are tweaked today. Must have slept wrong last night, and it slowed me down today. Sorry about that, Tiff. I just saw mine on Friday. He wanted to come here with his 3-year-old. Told him no, so he stayed home. I was thinking about that when I was making the bus tour video. I mean, not video, flyer. I was trying to see which way this seam is going so I can send it the same direction, but I can't even get to it. It's okay. We're just going to sew seam. It's the bottom of a bag. It's not detrimental. Oh, God. The things I'm worrying about. It's like, just stop it. It's a bag. Not even going to be seen or noticeable. But I was wondering if I should have put an age restriction on the bus trip. You know, I'm like, do we want to be on a bus with a kid screaming for 4 hours? I go, no, I don't think anybody would be trying to bring a kid. I think I'm okay. But you never know. You never know. And thinking a bus trip, I think I only got 5 unclaimed spots on the bus trip if people pay. I've given them to November 30th to get their deposit in for the bus trip to Missouri Star that I'm doing next June. People that are attending the retreat, it's already included in your retreat fees, so you don't have to worry about signing up for that. It's just for people that are going outside of retreat participants. So I only got 5 spots filling up. And I haven't really posted it, like, I posted it on Teaquilts, but I haven't like gone to other groups and posted it. So, but I could do that if the seats don't sell by November 30th, because I do want to make sure I got the bus filled for the contracts. So I can pay them, tip the bus driver, things like that. So, all right. So we're almost there. We've got to do the handles. Where's the other handle? It's trying to go back in its hole. All right, so we're going to do the denim side first since it's the heaviest, I think. Do this side first. So I don't have to pull it back around the front. Just want to get these edges flat. Now this looks like my denim is a little short on one side, like maybe one side of the fabric wasn't there. So I'm going to take a little larger seam on when I'm putting these handles together. So instead, it's not that much, but instead of, I'm going to go a little bit bigger than a quarter. I'm not going to do a whole lot of measuring. I'm just going to eyeball it. I just know it's going to be bigger than the edge of my foot. Take my pin out. And reverse stitch. All right. And then I'm going to do that same stitch with on the red to get it to do the same thing. Put a pin in here to hold the seam allowances so they go in opposite directions. And stitch this down. A little bit bigger than a quarter. All right. So I just have to do the pressing and the stay stitching on this one. And I'm not going to do that because, you know, the pressing takes the longest part of this bag. But I've got the handle joined. I just need to press the seams in, and then as I press this whole ring and stitch it down, just stay stitching 1/8 of an inch around the edge. It's going to hold. And what I did on this bag, I still got to sew my inside closed too. But I added a pocket on the outside, so if she wanted to put her cell phone in here, I just used the denim pocket or another piece of denim just to give it a little bit of contrast on this one. Like I said, I didn't want to do a whole lot, but I thought, you know, she can decide what her favorite is. Next time they come needing bags, then they got some choices. And I probably would charge them next time if they come back wanting more bags and any colors. Then she's got some choices and things that she can ask for. So she's got a double pocket actually, because she's got this pocket here as well as inside where I stitched the pocket down. So it's like a little double pocket here on the outside. All right. So I'll do that part later because that's the boring part, and I have to wait for the iron to heat back up. Let's see where I left off some of the comments. June says, we'll call you the bag lady. Yes, women in bags over here. And swimming in half square triangles. That's a Cheryl, so I think that's what she's doing. Deborah says, good night, everyone. I got my booster shot and it's making me very tired, so I'm going to bed. Yes, that's what I got to do next is get a booster shot. So thank you. Have a good night. Erling Butler says, good night, all. Stay safe. Take care. Good night to Erling. Good night, T. Good night, Tiff, and everyone else, and God bless. From Cheryl. So good night. Good night, everyone, and Miss T. Have a great night, everyone. That's from Kathy. So I think that's it. Okay. My phone's back up on that weird screen again. Ugh. Well, my so-called phone that would be here Thursday or Friday it's not even processed yet. So I'm glad that I ended up getting a case. And then I went back on Amazon and ordered a case for the new phone. So when it comes, I have a case. So, yep. Uh-oh. Melissa LePage says good night, everyone. Good night, Melissa. Ellen Campbell says good night, everyone. Have a blessed night, Teaquilts. She's going to bed. um, yes. We still got 10 minutes, so I got 10 minutes. I can sew some sides. Let's see if I need to pin. I'm not going to pin this one. I don't know if it's going to move a lot from where it should be, but we'll try to hold it in position. On this outside, I do stitch the entire thing. Let me back stitch. It does curve a little, but like I said, my 1/4 inch seam, I didn't have to press or clip. So I didn't do one clip. One side, this one together. Connie Donahue says, Connie here, Knoxville, Tennessee. I haven't heard of your pain. I'm thrilled to be able to be watching. This is my first time catching. I think, I don't know what word she meant for pain. But thank you, Connie, for coming. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. One of these days, I'm going to edit some videos. You know, I got my GoPro. I had to order a new GoPro because my other one's in hiding. And I haven't even taken it off the charger yet. I need to do something with that. But I've been working on other stuff like delivering quilts. I still got to pick up a quilt tomorrow, deliver a quilt tomorrow. Since I'm going to be in that area, I just told her I'd pick it up. I normally meet people halfway or they come to my house and drop it off. But I told her, you know, I'm going to be over in that neighborhood, so I got to pass her vicinity anyway, so I'll pick hers up. Yeah. So one of these days I'm going to make and edit some videos. I got some videos I need to edit, but I haven't had time. I haven't even done the completed project videos. Those still need to be done. September and October. And thinking of October, if you all are listening and you're in the 4-star general, make sure you got your photo uploaded to the correct group, because I'm going to pull those Monday just put them into a file so I can use them in my October completed projects videos for the group. So I think I'm finished. Oh, I have one more on the red. Not so fast. Hello, Eric Oda. He says, hello. People were asking me Wednesday if we were going to have a Zoom tomorrow. I told them I needed to talk to you because I wasn't even sure if you really still got time to do that. I don't want you to be overwhelmed because you've got your channel now too, so. But either way, I'm okay with it. No, Zoom wouldn't be tomorrow. It would be next Sunday because it's the 31st tomorrow. Now that I'm thinking about it, I know people were asking me, but no, not this Sunday. right. It seems like I hear a helicopter or something flying overhead. All right. Turn one out, leave one the other way. Tuck them in. Yeah, Remo's asking. See, I think. Good night, all. Had to put sheets on bed before hubby wants to go to sleep. Good night. Eric saying he thought he'd pop in because his neighbors are having another party, so he can't film. Yes. Ooh wee. I think I better pin this one since I'm pinning two different fabrics together this time. And maybe leave 3 inches instead of 2. It's a lot easier to sew the other one. Maybe 3 inches is a good size. What are these bags for? Actually, a line dancing friend asked me to make bags for her aunt who is using a jerry chair. So it's a smaller version of a slouch bag or a hobo bag. So that's what they're for. And I thought maybe my mom would like a bag as well. So this one's for my mom. I've made 4. 3 was requested. So I've made this one, and this one. This was my prototype. And then this one here, I just need to press the insides before I stitch down with the stay stitching on this one. So, and I need to close this hole in here. I need to do that before I forget. So it's done, but it's not done yet. And this is the one. I had a larger hole opening because it was denim, and I just didn't want to be tugging on the denim trying to get it through. So, and like I said, you could press this, make your life a lot easier, just that my iron's going to take so long to heat up at this point. So I just put them together and sew close to the edge. Starting about a 1/2 inch back from the opening. Just do a 1/8 inch seam. Yeah, I better close this bag up because I'll forget and have a hole in this lady's bag. And then if my mom likes it, I'll make her one out of the other denim leg that I got. I just said I only make her one. The jerry chair, the lady that uses the jerry chair know that they work for her. I'm not sure if they'll work for my mom. Making sure everything's closed. Yep. And I can push that back in. And then I just, this is just for Eric, but then I use the optional, a different color denim to put a pocket. That's a double pocket. So she can put her cell phone, wallet in here if she wants. On the outside, if she needs to. So I thought that was just an optional. So she's getting 4 bags, actually. I made her this one as an extra bag because I just wanted to give her something for the holidays since it's coming up. So she'll get these 4 bags. Just donations. My charity for the year. Since I did not make one mask, I don't think, for anybody, I kind of refuse to make another mask. I even bought the Teaquilt dye thinking I was going to make more masks for people, and it was like, no, I really don't enjoy that. I got the dye in the clearance section on top of a sale, so I didn't spend that much money for me to be worried about it. It still got the wrapping on it. I never cut one piece of fabric. Didn't even do a test cut. It's like, no, I don't like masks. So I like these bags. I like sewing these more than I do the mask. So I wouldn't mind making these again. Maybe I have to see what charity it is that gives these bags out, and I can make some for them. The problem is, what fabric am I going to use? Since that's the hardest part, was picking fabrics I wanted to not have in my stash anymore. Once they were gone, I wouldn't cry, except for my African print here. But I consoled myself and said I must share. I must share. I just love looking at my fabrics, apparently. All right. Take that out. And then we've got to sew the other side. Two folds are right here. Eric talking about the neighbors are playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's one of the line dances. Whoops. Did you put some kind of interfacing? No, these bags, this is a smaller scale slouch bag, so no, I did not. If I was making this in a larger bag that I would use for groceries, then yes, I have a different pattern. If I was making it in this size, and they even have this pattern that goes longer, like another 3 inches or so, then I would most definitely put interfacing in here. And probably would add some stitching in it too to hold it down, because you know fusible interfacing does eventually work its way up, especially if you wash it. But I would make sure that I put interfacing in it and then stitch it down. For that size, I think you can make the bag quilted because the straps are pretty fat. So I would either add some batting, something like that, because the more stuff you put in, the heavier that bag, the heavier that strap will try to dig into your shoulder. Are you back? You decided to come back and see me? I think you're ready for bed. Are you ready for bed? Dogs are funny. She's trying to make me go to bed. I think she's tired now. Maybe I didn't pin this whole thing. I got distracted answering Eric's question because I don't have any pins in this thing. On the other side. We're going to make it work. So no interfacing on these. These are just little small ones that are going to be hanging on a jerry chair. And that's why I made one in denim, because I'm just a sewing. I got about 1.5 inches on the end. We'll see how tight that is to sew, right? have to buy some fabric for the charity bag. That's Bonita. I'm going to have to buy some fabric for the charity bag. Bonita's worse than me then. And my husband even looking at me, and me and Deborah on the phone talking, and it's like, and Deborah saying, I know you don't have a lot of fabric. If you go ahead and use it, I'll give you some fabric. It's like, nope, I went somewhere else and found fabric. The only fabric I used that I was really concerned about in the end was this African print. But other than that, I was making do. I was making do. It is so funny. I said she didn't give me any color preferences, and I refused to ask after I realized she didn't give me any. I go, well, they are what I want them to be. So that was funny. All right. I just like to flip everything out, make sure all of my seams are taken care of, especially if you're sewing a 1/4 inch seam. That's one reason why people sew the seam bigger, give them a little bit more room, but I just like the 1/4 inch because I don't have to clip it. But yeah, so everything is sewed good. Now I can go ahead and flip it back the other way so I can sew the end pieces. It's 10:05. Y'all didn't even tell me. Tiff says, boo to mask. For a hot minute there, I thought you were making a baby shirt. No. June Hansen says, T, as long as you're not petting your fabric, it's okay. Yes, I don't pet it, but hey. Now, I will pet something if it's velvet or suedes or something, because I do love texture, but regular cottons, no, I don't just pat them. I pet thread. Am I weird? That's Eric. One day I went out and seen a homemade mask with pretty fabric on the ground, just thrown away like trash. Just by hospital types these days, cause a lot of fabric gets wasted on masks. My brother says, good night, sir. We're going to be getting off of here. I like the denim with the red. Great choice. Yes, I just wanted a little accent color on the inside for fun. And now they're playing Ghostbusters. Who created this playlist? That is funny. Melissa says, I'm just going to have to buy some fabric Right. And then when you get it, it's like, well, I bought it for charity, but I do like it. That's what's going to happen to Bonita. It's almost like you got to buy some stuff you don't like. Sue says, double Buddha mask. Yes. There is no purpose for me to be making those right now. I didn't enjoy the 80 or so that I made. I definitely don't want to voluntarily make any more. It would be if it's absolutely necessary, or for myself, and I haven't even made any for myself. I went and bought some for myself. No, the FEMA, or what is this? At Tiffany's Quilting, like the original. Oh, the Ghostbusters. Okay. I was like, what are they talking about? I get so distracted with reading and trying to sew, I can't remember what I've read. That's why I tell y'all, don't be dependent on me to remember stuff. My head's filled with all kinds of other stuff rolling through it. And Bonita says, absolutely, about the fabric. Buying something she don't like. Yes, because we'll end up getting home. And I've done that. I have bought some fabric to use for something specific, and then got home but I like that. It's like, okay, next time you do that, you need to buy fabric you don't like. Michael Jackson's Thriller. So Tiffany is watching all the horror movies. I am not going to be joining in with that stuff. She watching Ghostbusters. Now she's doing and then she's gonna do Ghostbusters. She's watched Hocus Pocus before. No, I gotta go to bed at some point tonight. Even if it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's like, nope, I'll still be remembering the crap I saw on television. Mm-mm. Good night, Remo. I guess I missed that. Sorry about that. Good night. Just look behind the front row of your stash. New fabric. Good night, tea and quilt folks. Yeah. Honey, I pull them stacks out. It's too funny because I go through them. But good night, Angela. Thank you so much. And I know I'm over, guys. I'm just sewing because I am. I'm gonna get this bag done to the point where I need to press them both. I figure if I do that, then I can go to my big ironing area and press them all, where I can hang this off the edge of my ironing board and get into the curves a little better too. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Get them both to the point where I can need to press. Sue says if I find an organization to let her know. Yeah, because I have no idea who. I guess I could ask her when she picked them up. That would probably be the easiest thing since they live here. It's not like it's an out-of-towner that I'm mailing these to. So I can do that. I'll try to remember. Sometimes I see people I haven't seen in a long time, especially due to COVID, but I haven't line danced in a group setting in a long time either. So we start talking about other stuff and I forget. But I'll try to remember to ask her, where did her aunt get the first bag? Because no one in her family sews. Otherwise, I've made her mask, and I also am making these bags. So, and she does like theme crochet. Like she makes stuffed pet animals in crochet, all kinds of stuff, but she doesn't sew. So she's capable if she wants to learn how to sew, because I've seen some of her crochet and it's like, oh my gosh, she made that in crochet. Okay, now we pull through. We're almost there. Hi, Diane. She says, I'm awake, so I'm popping in. Hi there. Hey, girl, what's up? So now we just have, I got to close this in first. That's what I forgot to do on the last bag, right? This will be number 5 that I've made total. Once I need to just do the top stitching on the last 2. Okay. And then the straps. That's as far as we can go on this live today, so I don't have to reheat my iron up. All right. Isn't that pretty? I didn't know that they had like an African paisley. But there it is. Stitch this handle on the ends twice, and then we're done for today. And then I'm done with you all. I'm going to get these done so I can have her get them tomorrow after church. So. Right here. Jonah's saying she wears a disposable mask, I guess. Diane 57 was in here. I think she may have lost the internet or something. She was in here earlier. And I'm over now, so. But when I even said her name, she never commented, so she was probably already out. That was a long time ago. All right, so I need to press now in order to just top stitch the edge all the way around the inside like I do on, you can see it on this blue one, where you just top stitch around the openings of the strap. It goes all the way around each side. So that's all I got to do on this blue jean one with the pocket and this one. And I'm done. So I'm going to wait and do that. I'll go press that at my ironing board. And then we've got these. And I want to stitch. I do want to just top stitch around this again. Just so that they can continue to use this. You might can put it on a doorknob at home or something. You never know. It's beat up bad, but hey, it's all right. We'll just put we'll 1/4 inch stitch this one away. Make sure we catch all the holes because it's been beat up. But that's okay. Sometimes you have your favorite stuff. You just don't want to let it go. So I'm going to help her out. And other than that, this dog is still looking at me like, are we going to bed? It's like, no. You at the wrong house, honey. We don't go to bed this early. And she won't just go get in her bed and go to sleep. She will not be in a room by herself. She has to be with you. So, good thing is I have a rug down here. So, she's laying on the rug. This little stitching to just give them another little line to hold this in place for a little longer. So they still got this one they can use at home. Right here. Good night, people that are leaving. I see Beverly is saying good night. This has been a marvelous little project, and the dishes are done. That's Melissa. Yes. Not mine. I cooked right before I came in here, so I got to go handle something. I might need to eat again because that was like really my second meal. I'm on a different meal schedule than most folk. I'm like getting hungry again, and I didn't eat a whole lot. I want to see if I can open this up right here. Almost back to the beginning here. And like I said, this bag that they had was made with lining fabric and some kind of like rayon material. So, you know, it's very light bag. And which also means that the materials that are used are easier to wear. And then they use like a really large stitch length. It's like set at 3.0 or something like that from what I can see. And that's another reason this bag didn't hold up to the weight very long. So yeah. And the strap handle was sewed by hand at the end, and I tried to make sure mine was all done by machine. And then it's going to be double stitch reinforced once I sew this part down and go around. So that's it. I'm going to get these done tonight just so I can get them finished and let her know tomorrow that her bags are ready. So thanks everybody for popping in here. Let me make sure nothing else was said I need to address. Craft with Love said good night. I think I saw that one. Beverly said good night. Saw that one. June saying good night. Darlene Crosby saying good night, everyone. Late here and I'm tired. Has been a good week ahead, and I hope to be joining you all on Wednesday. We'll see you later, Darlene. Janet says good night. All enjoyed. Jonah saying good night, all. So a lot of people saying good night. Benita. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get off of here. I'm gonna I guess look at this dog, look at me for a minute. And then press these on the big ironing board so that I can use the corner to go around the curves a little better and get these done. So one more thing off the to-do list. So see you all. You all stay blessed, be safe, and God bless. God bless you all. And quilt out, everybody. Good night, Tiffany.